Hi, today we're testing a slider. This one is named Kameleon, which means chameleon. And it's manufactured by Foton, a Polish company. As you can see, I have two of them. They're both identical length, and I'm going to tell you why is that a little bit later. For now, I just tell you that this is not the only length available. There are shorter and longer versions. The one I have here is 94 centimeters or 37 inches if you happen to live in the US. I start with the thing that I tend to look at first when I buy or look at or test a slider, which is the wheels over here. Why is it important? Because the size of the wheels determines how good will the slider resist dust, sand, and any other things that can and will be blown by the wind. You can compare it to driving a shopping cart over a parking lot surface. It will shake even though the asphalt is pretty smooth over there. If you do the same with a bicycle, you won't feel the shaking because bigger wheels help to conquer these small uneven spots. Same is with wheels on a slider. The larger these rolls are, the smoother it will run. So that's a good thing. Another good thing is the shape. This is a rectangular based shape. It's easy to clean. It's basically, you can go wrong with it. I've seen other devices with two rails and some metal beneath them. It's a natural place for all the dirt and dust to accumulate. So, of course, indoors in a studio that's not an issue, but if you go outside to some place which is dirtier, it will be a problem. So much about the wheels. Let's take a look at mounting the slider. What can we do with it? First of all, Kameleon, like every chameleon, has 4 legs. Each of them can be adjusted independently. It's about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters of regulation per leg. The legs can be folded for transportation. I personally prefer them to be detachable, but it's always one thing or another. You know. Like this, they are very solid and you won't lose them. With detachable ones, you spend time mounting them and dismounting, so I think it's a matter of choice. Still, I prefer detachable ones. What's more, if you don't want it to stand on its own legs, you can use a tripod. There are tripod mounting brackets over here with 1/4 inch and 3/8 of an inch standard screws. There are 2 of them in case you want to mount your slider on 2 tripods. With this 94 centimeters it's not necessary, but if you get the longer one it might be a good idea. Once you position this bracket in place, you simply screw it with a coin or in this case a washer. And you can mount it on a tripod. This tripod here is also built and sold by Foton. It's recommended for these sliders, but obviously you can use any tripod you want or have access to. As I said, this is a standard 3/8 of an inch screw. As you can see, the rail is pretty stable. The only bouncing I'm getting here is because I didn't screw it really tightly, because I want to unmount it in a moment. We actually did a test. We measured it with a professional digital level, and the horizontal level is kept throughout the movement range, even if you add a heavy camera over here. Still, if you want to be extra sure, they also have these accessories. They are mounted over here to the slider, and then this part goes to the leg of the tripod. This could be done a little bit more elegantly because it simply requires a sheer amount of brute force to put in place. I'll try to do it. Okay, it's in. Once you screw it, it stays there, and then the other part goes down. I'm not going to do it right now. You'll probably see it in the video. Just be careful when choosing the tripod, because these of course have some regulation, but it's limited. So if your tripod legs are thinner than this, you might have a problem. As far as the top mounting is concerned, there is also a standard 3/8 of an inch screw here, and it can be changed for a 1/4 inch if you happen to have such a need. If you want to change anything, remove the legs permanently, which requires you to unscrew this bolt over here, you simply remove the end piece, which is also held in place by 2 screws that can be unscrewed with a coin or a washer. And if you want, I don't know, only one mounting bracket, no problem. If you want 3 of them for some reason, no problem. You want the legs out, you want to change the card, and why would you want to do that? I'll tell you later. Or if you want to change the screw, you have to get the card out, change the screw, put it back in. So this is it. Obviously there's a blocking screw over here. Now the most important part, which is why I have 2 of these over here. They are pretty much identical if you look at them. There's no way to distinguish them, except for how they operate. That's where the difference really is. This is the older version, it's no longer manufactured. In here, the card moves just like that, smoothly, but without any resistance. This one is equipped with a new invention, actually patented by the manufacturer, by Foton. It's called slide control system, and basically you can think of it as a dynamic brake. I have a video tripod head to show it as an example of something similar, because when you try to move up or down or left to right, these heads, they have some specific resistance that allows for the panorama to be smooth and nice. Same goes for movement of this thing. Without this system, you have to manually control the speed, and sometimes, you know, your muscles are only human, so it's sometimes hard to maintain constant speed of movement. With this one, I can use a lot of force, and the speed remains more or less the same. It has a greater tolerance for human error. That's a very good thing. Also, for this to be able to run so quickly, it's a little bit loose. It's a fraction of a millimeter. You can feel it, you can maybe even hear it. With this one, none of this is happening. The wheels are pressing against this slider way more. I'll show you this practical example. I'm holding 2 wheels right now, and I can still move the cart. Here they're pressing more against the wheel, against the rail. So if I try to grab 2, I'm not even able to do this, because they're pressing so hard that they keep rolling, and all I do is getting grease on my fingers. I can grab 1 and then try to move it, but it's still not really easy to do. Now I'm gonna show you how efficient this system actually is. I have a Panasonic GH3 with a 35 to 100 mm lens. It's not a heavyweight champion of DSLR videography, but it's, I don't know, maybe around 1 kilogram. It's not featherweight either, and we'll stick to that. I'm using a photographic head this time, because I want to twist it sideways, and I want to mount the camera sideways. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, I'm gonna let the camera go. So basically the system can even hold against the gravity with a head and a camera on it. With this one, obviously, ouch, it doesn't do that. It would probably squash my finger if it was in there. Which means you can finally use the slider also for vertical motion. Of course, it will require some strength to lift it, a little bit less to get it down, but thanks to the system, the motion is smooth. And I can guarantee you, you won't get this sort of smoothness when you try to move the camera up or down using only your hand. It will always shake a little bit because the weight makes the muscle stress, and so on and so on. So basically that's it. As I told you, all the sliders Foton manufacturers right now are sold with this system. It's a really great way to achieve fluent, smooth movement, horizontal and vertical. And apart from some minor things that I would personally change, like the legs, it's really a good system and I would clearly recommend it. I hope you get a chance to lay your hands on it and try it yourselves.